Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am the Survival Architect, and in today's video we're going to be showing off this design for a one-wide tileable shulker box sorter. Now this took about 10 hours in this creative testing world to design. There's a failed design there that I spent most of the time on, and then took what I learned from there, put it into this thing. So this currently has 10 modules. I've got 9 of those in shulker boxes here. That's mostly because 9 looks better up here. But they all work, they all function. Now, I did try and use water streams, as you can see down there. I've also done a whole lot of other stuff. Water streams aren't consistent enough, actually. The item changes speed all the time, which means that the timings are all different. Whereas this way, you can just slap the same thing over and over again. I could use World Edit and just copy a whole bunch of stuff and put it right here, and it would work still. Whereas if I would use water streams, have to go through and manually test all the timings, which just doesn't not helpful. So we're going to run through how it works before showing it off and showing it in action. So let's hop into that just now. The first thing we're going to take a look at is this module here, just this. So essentially, this hopper here is the input for the shulker boxes. Now, this can be a water stream, it could be a dropper that drops it out at a certain rate. Up to you, or up to whoever's using it. But essentially, this hopper drains into this dropper. This comparator then detects it and powers the dropper again, or the dispenser, not dropper. Powers the dispenser, which pops the shulker box out over the top of that hopper. The next thing that happens is this torch depowers, which unlocks this hopper for exactly 1 tick, which is the exact, or 1 redstone tick, which is the exact amount of time needed for 1 item to get pulled out of the hopper. So that will drain down into here, into this hopper here, which is locked. The next thing that happens up here, I think it's 5, it's a number of ticks later, is that the shulker box is broken by this piston here. Now, because there's a slime block there, it gets punted across into this hopper line, and drains down into here, and ends up in this hopper here, which is also locked. Now, both of those hoppers are locked, so the items will go no further. The next system we want to have a look at is this red and yellow system here. Now, the yellow wall is the locking and unlocking of this hopper here. The red wall is the detection of an item inside the hopper. So, just to show this again, put an item in here, and this comparator detects that and extends this piston down. The same thing happens when you have an item in here that extends this piston down. The next thing that's just sitting in this area is what's known as an AND gate. Now, I don't know who first brought this into Minecraft, but it is more commonly found in computing. So I'm just going to quickly break this dust, just for demonstration purposes. Now, essentially, when this piston extends, it pushes this block down. So if I place a block here, you can, to simulate that, break that one, you can see that the redstone block runs the power through here, interacts with this block, which is then powered, and then that transfers into this redstone dust here. Now, when this is also extended, and there's a block here, you can see that this is also powered. This is known as an AND gate, because if this is extended, but this one isn't, the power is not going to end up coming through here. If this one's extended and this one isn't, the power is also not going to end up going through here. But if they are both extended at the same time, the power will run through here and activate this redstone line here. Now, this is the concept of this was first found in computing. And or gates, they're very common in computers. I'm not really the person to explain them properly in computing sense, but just know they exist. So, when the power ends up coming through here, it runs up and turns off this torch, allowing items to flow through that hopper line. Exactly 6 redstone ticks later, it deactivates this torch, allowing this hopper line to unlock and the shulker box to run through here. So let's jump over to explaining how this system works now. The next thing we want to have a look at is just this side of the tileable system, as I like to call it. Oh, I'm missing an observer there. So the item will come down this, the item that we've pulled out of the shulker box up here will come down this hopper line here and end up dropping into one of its predetermined sorting or item sorter things. So each one of these is like the blue wool is just a stock standard item sorter. You will have seen these on any survival series. Now, this observer, when an item drops into here, will detect the update in redstone power of this redstone dust. That will then power this piston. This observer here then detects the piston firing and powers it again, allowing it to retract these blocks here. So firing this piston across pushes the honey or slime block across, and subsequently this redstone block. Now this powers this thing, which I'll explain in a bit. The next thing that happens over here is that this observer detects the change in state of the redstone torch turning off and sends a signal down into the rest of the system. Okay, this part over here is what happens next. So the item has dropped into its predetermined hopper. That has powered these pistons, which powers, that powers those pistons, which pushes these across, powering these pistons, pushes this down, powering all this, turning off this redstone torch, which unlocks this hopper here. So this allows the shulker box to drop into one of the modules, the correct module. And that's why there is exactly 6 redstone ticks over here, because it takes exactly 6 redstone ticks to transfer the signal of the item dropping into the hopper over to here, which means that no matter what, the item will be in the correct hopper, or the shulker box, sorry, will be in the correct hopper when this whole system is powered, so it will drop into the correct slot. So that's pretty simple. It's essentially just taking the signal from over there and turning off this redstone torch through the system here. The next thing that happens is a bunch of stuff goes down here. The items end up down here. So the shulker box will end up in this dispenser here, and the item will end up in this hopper. Now, you'll also notice that these hoppers are locked, and that's essentially so that when the shulker box is placed, no items get taken out and dumped into the chests. So, when the item passes through the sorting system, the redstone torch will turn off. This observer detects it, as I've said. That transfers the signal down here and into this torch tower, which will unlock this hopper. But before that happens, this comparator detects the shulker box in here. If I just do that, turns it on, and fires out the item, or in the case of this actually being used, the shulker box. So this dispenser will place the shulker box. The item, which is in this hopper here, will then drain into the shulker box, but not be pulled out the bottom because this redstone torch has locked the hopper. Then, when the signal from this observer chain reaches this redstone torch, it will unlock the hopper and power the piston during the same redstone tick, which means that the shulker box will then drop into this hopper here and into the chests. So that's the system fully explained. Now let's have a look at it in action. So now we've got to see it in action. I've got 9 shulker boxes here of 9 of the items that are in this system. Here are all the items. We've got honey, we've got cactus, dispensers, red wool, pumpkins, books, string, trap chests, and melon slices. So if we just pick up these shulker boxes and head over to the head over to the top of the system here, let's chuck in the dispensers. Now I'm just going to be quiet and let this thing work. And there we go. Should be, yeah, it's worked. So if I go up into this area over here where I've got the item filters, you'll see that the dispensers are in this hopper here, i.e. the second one in. Now if I go down here to the second chest, you'll see that there is one full shulker box of dispensers, just as we put it in. So, actually I'll leave that in there. Let's go up and try another one. This one is the box full of books. Now, books are the second last hopper over there. So, if we chuck this in the top here, it's passing through the system. Oh, maybe books weren't close to the last one. Well, where were books? Maybe they weren't the last one. I think the books are here, no? Somewhere. Did I throw out a box full of books? No, I did not. Alright. I guess I'm just stupid. But in here, we have a box full of honey blocks. And it's completely full. Just as we put it in. So if we go up here, you'll see that this one is honey blocks. So, it's sorting the items into their respective areas. This one is full of cactus, so we'll chuck it in. I'll actually get it right this time. I checked it was cactus. Now, cactus is in, not that one, this hopper here. Alright, system's working. You can see the system working. And here's our box full of cactus in the fourth chest over, meaning that this system is sorting out the items. Now, I'm going to do one run of this using the replay mod so that you can see it all in action in relatively slow motion. And I will be back in just a second. So that's the full design. You've seen it in action, and it should be pretty easy to replicate it. If not, drop me a comment, and I will make a full tutorial for this, but it's a relatively simple system. You just have to make sure you get all the repeaters and comparators facing the correct direction, but by taking a look at the video, you should be able to do it. Up here is probably the most complicated bit. This is pretty simple, like it's just repeated over and over again. Each one is just a one wide slice, which I'm actually really proud of. Like, I did not think I'd be able to do it. But yeah, this is probably the most confusing bit. These are both facing in this direction. These two are facing in that direction. This one, that direction. And this one here is also in that direction over there. Now, I hope I've explained this adequately. Like I said, if you need a tutorial for this, drop me a comment and I'll make one. Thank you all so much for watching this video. This was a pretty tough one for me to put together. I've not really built much one-wide tileable stuff. The only other thing is that shulker loader over there. So, you know, bit of a struggle for me. But it was really good to do. I really enjoyed it. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video and that you might have learned something, or you might use this in your own world. I haven't actually seen that many other tileable systems for sorting out shulkers like this. The ones I have seen are absolutely massive, like twice or three times as big as this, and it's essentially one wide, but every module stacks up in that one wide space. So what I've done here is made something that's probably a bit more useful for a survival world, because it pops out in chests that you can then label down the bottom here. So yeah, that's this system fully explained. Thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, feel free to hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more stuff from me, then feel free to subscribe to the channel. I've been the Survival Architect, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.